as AMRAE finishes after two or 3 days of fairly hectic activity. How have you found this year's event?
I think the AMRAE event is a solid constitution of the French market. I think it's one of the best that I've seen in any continental European country. High quality of speakers, very good workshops, great opportunity also in terms of concentrating a big number of customer and broker meetings. At the right time of the year, we're in February, everybody's a little bit more relaxed, away from their major renewals, so we can have open, unstressed discussions about the future, their wishes, their concerns. So it's a very good event.
And what are those concerns? What are the themes you're seeing emerging through, particularly from the French market?
I think the French market is very concerned in terms of the potential volatility in insurance rates, economically and from the insurance industry. Obviously, they realize there's an abundance of capacity, that they've been living now a number of years of softening markets. So they realize that's going to come to a stop sooner or later. So they're asking themselves now, at least for the last 2 years, quite important questions in terms of how is the insurance industry going to react to this, and how volatile is it going to be, and how stable is the capacity going to be. And some are looking for assurance in terms of a more long-term relation. At the same time, we have to consider that they're under tremendous stress from their general management in terms of budget constraint, reduction of costs, and we've seen already, I would say in the last 2 renewals, certainly July 2012 and January, some are already taking on more self-insurance, more retention in their captives to anticipate the volatility in the market.
Now, I know that ACE is pushing very strongly some environmental policies and things.
Right.
What kind of demand are you seeing for that? What appetite are you seeing within France for that particular type?
I think we've been very pleasantly surprised. Our environmental initiative in France goes back to 4 years ago. Initially, the initial year, great interest from an academic and an intellectual standpoint, but no buyers. They weren't buying because of budget constraints. It's been 2 years now that we've been doubling our portfolio in an environment. So they are buying. It is a big concern. I think we found the right formula, and it will continue that way. So we have great expectations from environment. But it's not only environmental. There are other series of what we call the new systemic type risks that are coming along. So we're talking about all a series of socio-political events, which have become more complex because today it's very hard to distinguish between a social movement, a civil commotion, an act of terrorism, a political act. That also concerns, and it doesn't have physical boundaries, it doesn't have geographic boundaries. An event in one country can influence a company in another. Same thing in terms of protection of employees all around the world. That's very sensitive today. And the whole notion of what I call the decentralization of major risks. So today, a big company necessarily doesn't have the biggest risk at its center. It's often at the periphery of the empire that the big event will occur that will have repercussions in terms of media, in terms of reputation, in terms of financial results, and it can come from anywhere. And I put in that cyber, for example. Cyber risk is hard to pin down to a scenario. Where is it going to come from? So these whole series of events for us and types of coverages are fundamental because we've been working quite a lot on them. And eventually, perhaps not right away, as the development seems to be there, they will become the future cat-type risk because there'll be known and unknown accumulations across the world.
And you mentioned cyber there. One of those sort of risks that's associated with that, which is now becoming increasingly more common, is reputational damage.
Right. Absolutely. Reputational damage is certainly probably the first consequence before even getting to the stage of financial damage. Now we're waiting obviously for the European Commission to come out with its new directive in terms of protection of information that falls under the privacy laws. That will have a big impact. And whether it be cyber, whether it be environmental, today the barriers between first party and third-party risk are falling down. So I think the challenge for the insurers and the risk managers is how do you bundle those two, that you have a seamless cover, because depending on how the trigger of the event will occur in a specific circumstance, it'll either be a first-party coverage that you'll need, or a third-party coverage, or a mixture of both. So you're really talking about first-party, almost an extra expense business interruption aspect, and obviously a third-party aspect in terms of responsibility, versus an insured, a customer, a third party, or even a regulator that will be very aggressive in terms of what you should be doing once you've triggered that sort of event.